riding with the right AMAP. Up in front of us is Brendan. And he is riding Valerie! He actually rides an FZ1 most of the time, but it's in the shop. Getting some valves work done, so it's been a while since he'd ridden a bike. So I said, well, why don't you take Valerie out? My father-in-law won't mind. She needs some exercise. So we went out to have some fun. We're over here at Watauga Lake on 321. We just finished 421 and it was a great ride. He actually was riding Yoshi, and after a while I said, I gotta have Yoshi back. I can't handle this. My butt and my back are bothering me. I'm getting old. I gotta get back on my back. So Brandon was kind enough to switch back with me. He's just happy to be on two wheels again. And this guy in front of us is really slowing us down. If he was on his FZ1, I imagine that he would take a pass, but being that he's on somebody else's bike, he's not being too aggressive today. Totally understandable. But I've got a story to tell while we're following Brandon on these curvy, twisty, long, sweeping roads. And it's going to be a voiceover, because this is a story that I have written, and I don't have it memorized. And it's a way for me to vent some personal frustration. There's a boat ramp. I had some, you know, I'm a pretty happy guy, and I'm always trying to be a bright spot in the universe. But bad things happen to everybody, and we got to figure out how we're gonna handle those situations when they come. I was kind of personally attacked, and it's one of those situations where hundreds of people tell you you're doing a great job and one person doesn't think you're doing a great job, and that person is the person that is listened to, and you end up losing something that is important to you. Well, you know, for liability's sake or safety's sake or whatever the case may be. Happens a lot in life. So instead of being all mad and hateful, but I had all, you know, and doing something with that mad and hateful energy and saying something or doing something I would have regretted, I learned long ago to take that anger and frustration and put that energy into something useful. When I was younger, and first, I'd only been married a couple months probably, my wife and I had a disagreement, and we ended up being hurt and, you know, getting mad and upset. And so I grabbed my mountain bike and took off and rode as hard as I could in the rain, and my dog followed me and ran as hard as he could, and we just were, you know, we went for like a mile or 3 or 6, who knows, and by the time we made it home, we had no energy to be mad anymore. So it's always a good thing to get rid of that. Oh, we're stopping. And so this is kind of one of those things where my energy was there and I had to do something with it, so I did something creative. If you looked at my thumbnail, it is a picture that I drew, but the picture came after the story. And the story just flowed so easily, just came right out, and but it was during a test, a big state test that the kids take in Tennessee, TCAPS. And there's nothing for me to do as a teacher during that time period. So just the day before is when I had the crummy thing happen. So I put all of that energy into a story. And it just flowed and came out nicely, and it was a bit emotional for me at the time. And I'm hoping when I do my voiceover, I won't get all emotional while I'm reading it. So, without further ado, and there's no more twisties, this is the story of the wolf and his ducklings.
In the land of the mountains that are green, there lived a wolf pack, and it was numbered 15. Each wolf was assigned of an area to clean. They watched over the land and the creatures therein. One wolf was assigned to a lake. He loved it there. It was fun, for heaven's sake. Each spring the ducks would lay eggs, and not long after those eggs would wake. The duck parents were so proud of their ducklings anew, they would take them to the swans each summer, and the swans would teach the ducklings what to do. The wolf asked the swans if he could help because the ducklings were so many and the swans were so few. The swans wanted some help, but worried because he was a wolf. Don't wolves eat ducklings? Or swans? Or maybe both? The wolf gave his word to protect and be true, to say words and to do deeds that only the swans would do. He kept watch over the lake by day and by night, setting up learning stations, burying treasure, and helping the ducklings learn to fight. He, like the swans, wanted the ducklings to learn wrong from right. The swans trusted the wolf year after year, and they gave him a gift, some flippers for the water because the ducklings could swim so swift. Instead of keeping watch, just dog paddling on top of the water all day, he could swim down under and make up games for them all to play. The swans named him Nessie, the monster of the deep, who year after year wouldn't even hurt nary a sheep. One year a new swan came to the lake. She watched Nessie play and thought, "This can't be right. He's a wolf, and wolves eat ducklings for heaven's sake." All the swan could see were his fangs and his teeth, not the smile on his face or the heart underneath. The swan flapped and rustled her wings and gave a warning call, not just to one swan, but to all of them all. The wolf spoke with the swan, but she still was appalled. The swan went to the wolf pack and pleaded her case. They told him to act like a wolf, not a pup, right there to his face. They took away his flippers and they told him to stay in his place. Summer after summer, 8 or was it 9 in his wake, not one precious duckling was hurt at the lake. The wolf was hurt, and rightfully so, for in just 3 years' time, his own female pup with him to the lake would go.